Hello out there, you're watching everything you need to know about Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game, and I'm just going to get right to the point and say this game is absolutely top-notch. This belongs in your game collection, it belongs on the shelf. You should be playing this with friends. What you're looking at here is the core set. This is basically a starter set that Fantasy Flight Games created. This is what you're going to start with. You can buy expansions, which are basically more ships. You can get all of them, or you can get just one or two more, or you can just have what you have in this box and have a nice skirmish and experience the dogfighting mechanic that comes with this game. It's basically a two-player tactical space combat game, and it's absolutely out of this world, pun intended. It's completely incredible. This retails, the MSRP is $39.99 on this, so right off the bat people are going to ask, well, how many ships come with it? Well, you're going to get 3 ships. You're going to get 1 X-Wing and 2 TIE fighters, and that may not sound like such a good deal for that price, but quite frankly, you look at these things and they're just absolutely stunning. They're pre-painted, they don't require much assembly. You're just basically going to take 1 ship, these 2 clear pegs, this base. You're going to choose a pilot that's going to fly the ship, and you're going to put that on here, and when you're done, you're going to wind up with this. And this is what the model that you're going to be working with. You got a TIE fighter on a clear stem, on a base, with all of the pilot stats on here. This is a game that you're going to absolutely love, even 1-on-2, 2 TIE fighters against an X-Wing. Kid-friendly, absolutely. You can play this with kids, your friends, people from church, total strangers. Go outside right now and find somebody on the street and say, hey, do you want to come in my house and play X-Wing? And they'll probably do it. Offer soup. Soup tends to get strangers to come inside. Although kids don't get into a van with a stranger unless they have a really, really cool paint job. Speaking of paint, like I said, this thing is already detailed, already set to go. And unlike other miniature games, you don't have to glue things together. You don't have to worry about building, constructing, all that other stuff. This is all set to go, and everything's included in the box. It starts, like I said, at $40, but you can get it for cheaper if you hunt around for a deal online. It's not too hard to find a good price, usually in about the $26, $27 range. What you're going to do is take these rule books. We have 2 sources for the rules here, and you're going to learn how the game works, and I'm going to do this video series to explain in detail how to play, and then decide which ships you want to have, and then you're going to build a squad list. What this game includes is a rules of playbook. This is a comprehensive rule book. It's about 28 pages long. On the back page here is just kind of a shortcut for things you need to know about turn order and things like that, what goes on and around. And then you have this quick start rules, which I don't really like. I know it's really basic. It's just 1 page, basically. It's very simple, but it's a little too simple. They don't really present the rules accurately in this. This is a great rule book, but I don't recommend this because after you're done, you must unlearn what you have learned. So I'm not a big fan of the quick start. This is really, really cool on the other hand. So what else do you get that makes this so valuable? Well, you're going to get these pilot cards. So you need to know not only which ships you have, but who's flying the ship, because there's different things on these cards. For example, Luke Skywalker is one of the pilots for the X-Wing. Yeah, big surprise he'd be in this game, right? So they have an initiative number right here, but they don't call it initiative, they call it a pilot skill. Initiative goes in ascending order when you're maneuvering, so that the lesser ships move and you can see where they go before you go. And then when you do combat, you go in descending order. So if you have a higher PS, pilot skill, you're going to shoot first, and then it has your attack value, your defense value, and then how many hit points or health or damage capacity you have, however you want to look at it. This is your hull. This is how much, well, it's how many hit points you can take, and then this is how many shields you have. You'd have to discard your shields as you take damage. When you don't have any shields left, then the damage counts against this, and when you're out of hull, then your ship blows up. These are the actions you can take. You can focus, which means you would discard a focus token to re-roll any dice that have focus, either when you're attacking or defending. This is target lock. When you put a target lock on a ship, and you can only have 1 target lock going at a time, you can discard it to re-roll as many dice as you want. There's also secondary weapons that you can only use with a target lock. And these are upgrades here that you can use. There's an Astromech, so you get R2-D2 for this guy, proton torpedoes, and an elite talent, which is just something that gives them a little bit of a bonus. Now this comes at a cost. You're going to spend this many points for your pilot, So the higher pilot skill and the better ability, the higher this is. And then you're also going to get, in addition to the pilot cards, these upgrade cards like an astromech. These are astromechs. And they're going to come with a cost here in the bottom. So you add this up, you're going to have a budget, and you're going to have to stay within that budget. When you take damage, you're going to be dealt one of these damage cards face down. This starburst indicates that you got a hit. If you take critical damage or a crit, it's going to be face up. And then whatever text is, it's either going to be a ship or a pilot trait, you're going to have to resolve that. If you get a direct hit, which you will probably get a lot of in a row because I put this in alphabetical order, if you get a direct hit, it does 2 damage to you, and these just do various things. So you want to avoid damage altogether, but you don't want to crit, because that's even worse. How do you determine damage? Well, what you do is you roll these dice, these red dice here. They only give you 3 of each color. I'm going to go ahead and say there's a good chance you're going to want to get a second core set to get twice as many ships and twice as much, stuff. Which, you'll love this game enough you won't mind doing that. But anyway, you roll these red dice to determine your attack, and that's going to be based on the number right here in your primary attack. This is your laser cannon. Okay, you're going to roll these dice. The defender is going to roll these dice. Okay, you modify these first, then he rolls these, and then you see how many hits and crits you got, how many cancels they got, because they can roll evade, which is basically this symbol here, this zigzaggy I got out of the way in time thing. The TIE fighter on their ship, their pilot card, they have as an action the possibility to evade, which is this thing, which means they take an evade token and they can discard it, and it cancels one of your hits. And if your hits are canceled, then it discards one of your crits. This means barrel roll, which basically means they get an extra free maneuver to go to the side the length of one ship, and I'll show maneuvering in just a second here. Anyway, these are the dice. These are the ships with their bases and their stems. That's the damage deck. These are the pilot cards. You're going to get 4 X-Wing pilots. You're going to get 9 TIE fighter pilots. Most of them are generic, which means they don't have a name, like this guy is. Let me find him here. This guy, somewhere around here. Well, here's one. Red Squadron pilot. He's a generic guy. You could have as many of him as you wanted, but you can only have one Luke Skywalker at a time, though. So, maneuvering. What you do is you take a maneuver dial. This TIE fighter is going to make a left turn, and he's going to go at a speed of 1. Now, everybody moves at the same time, so the distance reflects how far you were able to travel in that time. So he's going to go left turn at a speed of 1. So here he is right here, and you're going to take a template. You have all these templates here. These are all for going straight, banking, which is a 45-degree turn, or turn, which is 90-degree. And you're going to put this right here. Okay, unless you're shooting a video, then you're going to use your free hand to hold this down, and then you're going to take the ship and move them to the other end of the template, and that is a maneuver. Up here you have this firing arc, so you would have to find a ship that's within that firing arc, and then you have a range ruler, which indicates if the ship you're shooting at is in range. He has to be within range 3 usually, so you would take this ruler and measure how far away he is. If he's at range 3, he gets to roll an extra defense die. If he's at range 1, you get to roll an extra attack die. That's what that's for. We have these other tokens here, just really quickly. We have asteroids. This is essential in almost any game, because you're going to put these in the play area and try to avoid them. If you run into them or if you overlap them, then you lose your action for the turn. You might take damage, etc. Then we have these satellite tokens. There's a ship token where you're going to give this guy an escort. That means you're going to take him somewhere. It doesn't mean the other thing. You're going to have these target tokens here. These are relevant for a mission, by the way. You don't usually have those. And then here's where you're going to have the shields that you can discard, your evade tokens, your critical damage, just to let you know you got critical damage, just to remind you. And then the other thing we have here is stress tokens. Now, the way a pilot gets stressed is that some of these maneuvers are really cool. This is called a coil ground turn. This means that he goes forward at a speed of 4. That's really, really fast. And it's this really long template here. We'll turn it this way so you can see a 180-degree turn. At the end of this maneuver, he flips around and goes the other way. Actually, I did that backwards. He goes this way and flips around like that. And now he's facing the other way and he can shoot back. Okay. So the problem with that move is it's really difficult for the pilot to do. So he's going to take a stress token, okay? And this token is going to follow him until he gets rid of it. The way to get rid of it is by doing a very nice, simple green maneuver, which is something like this. Just going forward at a speed of 2. You know, like you're just out on a Sunday driving Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy, I gotta make water. Find that real quick. And you can see that's a shorter movement. Oh, he's going the right way that time. Awesome. So he does that, and he loses the stress token. Very cool. If it's a white maneuver, it doesn't create stress, but it doesn't add stress. So like that would be a white maneuver. Turning, a full turn, is a white maneuver, but banking or going straight is green. Target locks right here. These are the target locks you're going to get. You're going to put a blue one by your ship and a red one by the ship that you're target locking. You can only have one blue one by you at a time. That means that you're only doing a target lock on one ship, although there can be as many red tokens by them as necessary. These right here, if you have generic pilots, you're going to pick 3 tokens that have the same number. You're going to plug them into the front and back of the ship, right in here. Something like that, and then by the pilot card, yeah, that fit in there. And that way you can differentiate which ones, you know which ones are going to take damage, etc., etc. Pilot cards, upgrade cards, these are the other ship tokens for the other pilots, and damage deck, dice. That's pretty much everything that's going to come in the box. Like I said, it's going to run you typically $39.99. Amazon, Cool Stuff Inc., Miniature Mart, sells them for like $26, $27. I'm being honest when I say this is possibly the best board game I have ever played. I got really emotional there for a second. In further videos, I'm going to talk about some of the expansions you can get to add to this. It's not an expensive game, but it will cost you a few bucks. It's going to take a while to build all the resources to get this, and that's cool because you can buy them separately, and each of these expansions is going to run you between like $12 and $16. So you can go out and get a new one every week and watch this game just expand and build before your very eyes. It's really, really cool. You definitely need to get it, and it should be at the top of your game list. So I hope that was enough of an endorsement that you liked this introduction of everything you need to know about Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game. I'm going to come back really soon to talk about the Wave 1 ships, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter Advanced, and the Y-Wing. Anyway, until next time, GLHF. Thank you.